Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Weege Says. Sorry for the close-up of my face. Heading down to my space. Am I rhyming on purpose? Anyway, just want to give some love to y'all. This is my messy storage room. I'm heading into my studio. Before we get carried away and start talking about a bunch of nonsense, I want to give a shout out to SOJA and congratulate them on their Grammy. I think it's an amazing achievement. I know there's a lot of controversy, and I think that controversy is straight up bullshit. Now, I'm not a crazy SOJA fan. I'm not even going to pretend like I am. All right? But I have a lot of respect for people who put in the work, who sign up for the Academy and do what it takes to be successful. So give them a lot of love for what they achieved. It's sad that there are certain communities right now creating division, and it's heartbreaking because I think it's a time to unify. But you know, I don't want to be all cliche and be like, "Hey, one love, love and light." I'm not that guy. Just so you know, not that I don't believe in one love, and not that I don't believe in love and light. I'm a traditionalist when it comes to reggae. I grew up on this genre. I love the music wholeheartedly, but I also understand music isn't all about sunshine and partying and smoking weed. I know reggae is culturally something really special to the people who started it. So I always give respect and love to those people who started it. Did it evolve and change into other things? Of course. There's many different facets, many different subgenres of reggae now. I mean, it's spread all over the world. It's an international genre now. But never ever would I ever take anything away from the people who founded it. But I also think they could revel in the fact that it's grown so much. But we got to make sure that those OG artists get paid for their work. That's all I ask. Make sure you go follow their music, their playlists, do whatever it takes to help them grow as artists, even in the modern age. Even if they are pioneering artists, their families deserve that recognition. The ones who are gone, the ones who are still here. Show them that love. But don't take away from SOJA's accomplishments. It's wrong. It's wrong. They worked hard for it. They've been in this industry longer than a lot of these bands. They were around when I started, and they put in the work. And if you put in the work and you work smart and you put out good content, it's all that matters. So, and I think their message still is pretty positive. So show them some love. Don't be haters. We're going to go into Q&A right now. I just wanted to say before we get into it, I appreciate y'all participating in it. Sometimes it can be goofy, but I like talking to people. I like hearing from fans and friends and family. So all of this engagement helps me as an artist. Don't forget that. So when I put out those Q&A posts on Instagram stories or any Ask Me Anything stuff on Facebook, Twitter, please respond. I'd love to hear your questions. They don't have to even be music business. They don't have to be anything about me. They can just be about, why do birds suddenly appear? All right, so first question. Jack asks, at what age did you start writing your own music? And I would say 15 is when I first started putting together lyrics and composing on some level, but I really wasn't that good of a guitarist yet. So it was just like putting chords together, you know? So the first song I ever wrote was called The Unknown Stuntman, and it was released on a demo for 880 South in like 2002 or 2003, but it was later released on an album as well, just as The Stuntman. So, yeah, it's I think it's about a booty call, but it's more just about like getting your heart broken and getting tired of playing that game. So check it out. It's called The Stuntman. It goes, late at night, you will come, greatest discovery I ever made it up. Oh, you could say. Next question's from Carl Smith off of Instagram. He just put favorite album, ? One you could listen to without skipping a single song on repeat. Wow, Carl, that's a tough one. Was always always crazy about Abbey Road. Growing up, there's a couple of Zeppelin albums there, just fire. Um, Queen's always up there. It's tough to choose this. Now, I think because of the recent Beatles documentary, it's like a tie between like Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, and Let It Be. The Beatles, Let It Be. That's my pick, Let It Be. But today, it's a battle between LAB 5 is their album. LAB is a band out of New Zealand. And The Ghost of Freddie Caesar is an album by Troy Kingi that I think everyone needs to listen to. It's got like this R&B soul kick that's just, so good. All right, this next one's from Chronic Tacos on Instagram. And it asks, what was it like singing on a stage with a crowd watching you perform? It's enthralling and terrifying because you're just taking it all in at once. But you feed off the crowd. You feed off the vibe. I think the biggest crowd I ever played was Cali Roots. And it's just intense. You, all eyes are on you and your bandmates. And it's not a time to fuck up what you've been rehearsing. So, yeah, it's nerve-wracking, but it's also exciting at the same time. And if it's a daytime show, it's a lot different of a vibe than playing at night with lights on. When the lights are on, I can't see the crowd. So, yeah, it's a great experience. It's weird. I get nervous in large crowds, but not on stage because we rehearse so much. We're like ninjas. All right, so next question. Scotty asks, what's your favorite guitar that you own or have owned? That's a tough one. That's like picking my favorite kid or my favorite pet or my favorite dessert. Right now, it's this Martin. I love playing this Martin. It's a Dreadnought. It's just got a nice clean tone. But every guitar I have has a purpose. I've got a Fender Stratocaster. I got a Fender Telecaster back here that I love playing reggae on. The Strat is probably my first guitar that I played everything on. So I play a lot of funk and groove. I've got a 5-string jazz bass here. I used to play on this nylon Blue Ridge. It was actually my friend's. It's where I learned how to play guitar on. And it's a classical guitar, and I miss that thing because I might have to buy another classical guitar soon because I love the tone. I love the sound. Grant Smith. Hello, my friend. He has a question. When's your next show in the Denver area? Oh, wow. That's a tough one. We haven't played in Colorado since October 1st. We played in Lakewood. That was a fun show. We are gearing up right now. We're playing in Montana in June, on June 3rd and June 4th. We're doing a small Texas run in the end of May. So we're hoping between now and then some things bubble up. We did have an opportunity to play Cervantes recently, but it didn't pan out. So we're still kind of holding. We get a lot of offers to play locally, but it's got to be the right kind of mix. I got to have my whole band ready. It's just a timing thing. So we're hoping by July, maybe August, and realistically fall, we'll be playing a lot of shows, probably playing every month or every other month. So hang in there. We're coming. He's coming. With all these singles, there's gonna be a lot of music. Next question by Blaine Dillinger. Who's your daddy? Oh my God. Blaine. My father's name is Juan, actually. It's Juan Casaretto, and he's a great man. And he raised us in New York, in California, and couldn't ask for a better father. I know that wasn't the answer you wanted, but it's an answer nonetheless. All right, we got the Q&A out of the way, and I appreciate y'all that participated. I'm going to try and do that every week. Things always bubble up. There's a lot of stuff to talk about this week, but I'm going to try and keep it real simple. Last week, I left off talking about just professionalism and music industry stuff, and I started talking about, at the end there, I mentioned perfectionism. And I feel like it's important to call out kind of why I brought that up, because I think often as musicians, we all seem to kind of tear into ourselves as creators, and we put ourselves in these situations where we defeat ourselves and we don't even allow our music. There's a lot of memes that joke about this, but there's guys who will be mixing their songs for years and never actually release them. And it's a problem. I think it's a real problem when you strive so much for perfection that you hinder your ability to be productive. You hinder your ability to release and let people hear what you're working on. Sometimes perfection's great, but to get to the state of perfection, you have to kind of gradually increase your output. And in today's world, because of the way Spotify works, the way Apple Music works, the way YouTube streaming works, the way everything works really digitally, you've got to keep up with demand. And unfortunately, the days of sitting on an album for 2 or 3 years and letting it out, well, unless you're like the Chili Peppers or, a band who's already kind of been through it in the 90s, you just can't do that anymore, because it'll amount to, weak streaming. It'll amount to, and it's unfortunate it's like that. I'm not saying I agree with it, but it will lead to slow growth. So in today's world, you want efficiency. You want quality, but you want efficiency. And I've heard songs that sound like they're recorded out of someone's garage do really well, and I've heard songs that are well produced not do that great. And a lot of it comes down to the marketing and the branding and the release timing, the schedule, the consistency. That's what people have to focus on. As much as perfection seems like a great goal to something to achieve, you really should be focusing on your consistency. And the more frequent you're releasing, the more frequent you have something to market, the more frequent you are actually putting yourself out into the world and engaging with people, the easier it's going to be to grow. And I learned this hard lesson this year because I didn't spend a whole lot of time doing marketing after October 1st. Like, I stopped doing shows. COVID had me kind of broken mentally, and I was kind of like, you know what? I'm done. Taking a break. I'm going to focus on production. And I took my foot off the gas. I stopped playlist pitching. I stopped doing all the things that got me where I was, and I didn't realize how critical it was to keep my momentum going. I should have just kept releasing songs, even doing an indie home studio style, at least throw out an acoustic song. I should have kept that cadence going, but I think I was a little mentally burned out. There were a lot of big changes within my group, organization, whatever you want to call it. So it was a good year regardless. We still had a lot of success, but looking back, I should have kept releasing music. So my advice to musicians, my advice to anyone, if you're a creator, don't sit on something so long that people don't care. You're better off releasing not necessarily half-finished work, but work that's showing progress, and get yourself to a position where every time you release, you're showing some growth, you're showing some advancement. I think that's critical. When you get a chance to listen to these new singles that are dropping, we're dropping 1 single a month, by the way. We're actually technically dropping 2 singles a month. I haven't announced this yet, but we're actually I guess I'm gonna do it now. We're gonna start doing dubs of every song. So we're gonna have our regular release, our grand release of every single every month, and then within 2 weeks of that release, we'll be dropping the dub version of each song, except for like 2 or 3 songs that are not really reggae-ish. They're more soul. So we'll come up with some concepts there. I'm working on that. But yeah, so right now in the queue, 11 songs ready to go, fully produced, all that are on the docket. They're all ready to go every month. So I'm real excited about that. And we're going to be able to not only show the growth and the strength of these new recordings that we put a lot of time and hours into this. And what's amazing is looking back, it took a lot longer than it should have, but a lot of it was just because the way we put the process together. What we learned in that process, we're now applying to, I think, like 6 or 7 new songs that we're developing. Our buddy Blaine Dillinger is heavily involved in that with us. So Mark and I are just really excited about all this new material we're working on. And those will come fast and furious, you know. Like if I'm realistic, I could release 3 singles a month, but I won't. It's a little bit overkill. But you know, 1 single a month is already pretty ballsy. You know, Spotify recommends like every 6 weeks to release a single, but we're like, hey, you know what? Do what we want, because we put the time in. We put the time into production and mixing and recording and songwriting, and it's a beautiful work of art. It was really hard to like step back and go, oh shit, we just wrote a whole album and now we're not going to release a whole album. We're going to release singles. But after we thought about it, it was actually the better strategy. And I'm hoping in a year's time, in 12 months, we're going to look back and just be like, yes, that was the right way to do it. You know, the goal being to build up our reputation, to build up our numbers again, get our streaming back to where it belongs. And in the meantime, we're writing a ton of music, and not just for ourselves, we're writing for other artists. You know, down at SOJA Sound Lab, we're doing a lot of production work with other artists, songwriting, co-writing, and our dream ambition is really to just be like a song kind of tank, you know, like a think tank, like a startup kind of hub where we can help artists get going. So we're real excited about that. We're real excited about the future. Going back to the perfection talk, though, I just want to urge artists, focus on consistency. You can still focus on quality, but don't let quality hinder your ability to produce. That's it. I don't have much else to talk about today. I did have a lot of topics running through my head because it's just been a hectic week. You know, I'm working on a lot of playlist pitching myself. I spend 4 to 6 hours a day doing this myself, and I've actually had some success this week pitching old music, which is interesting. I thought I'd be just throwing things on the wall, seeing what happens, but it's actually been pretty strategic, and I'm happy with the results. But I am finding that I need help. So if anyone out there wants to learn a little bit of music biz marketing, I'd love to teach you. And if you want to join the team, shoot me a DM or a message or an email. My contact info is everywhere. So if you can't find it, you probably shouldn't be playlist pitching. Seriously though, I'm excited that we're getting a few offers for people who want to help. Also looking for help with Street Team. I have a Street Team Facebook group that's kind of small. It's only like 50 people, but it's a lot of people really devoted to helping us grow. I've got a ton of swag to give away. So if you know any people who want to join the Street Team, shoot me a DM and I'd love to talk to them. And we're hoping to find a Street Team leader, someone who can actually lead the charge for me, you know, and help me with kind of managing it all, because I'm definitely overwhelmed. But the growth is real. The growth is happening right before our eyes, and I'm stoked. I'm stoked to be releasing music finally. It's been a whole entire year of no music from us, and it's gonna be fun. On top of that, in tandem, by the end of summer, maybe mid-summer, we'll be releasing 880 South music as well. So lots of new jams. 2 bands. I'm in 2 bands technically 3, but 2 that are active. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a busy year. So please, if you haven't already followed me on Spotify, if you haven't already followed me on Apple or Amazon or anywhere you stream music, please do subscribe to my YouTube. All those things matter. They make a huge difference in what I'm doing, because every click counts. I think I've mentioned this in the past. You know, if you want to help me as a songwriter, follow me on all social media. Tell your friends about it. That'll help me. That's the biggest step to take. I think the second step right now is to pre-save my new single. If you go to the YouTube or you go to Instagram, you'll see the links everywhere. You can go to the website, weegemusic.com, and it's all there. You can pre-save from there. My goal is 500 pre-saves. I'm at like 208. Might be 211. I have to look again. Just go hit that link and pre-save. If you don't use Spotify, you can enter your email and it'll notify you the day of the release. I'm excited for this single. It's going to be fun. I also have a Ko-fi page, ko-fi.com/Weege, WEEGE. And if you check that out, you know, basically what it is memberships. It's like a Patreon. But I have a lot more flexibility and control over the system. which is why I chose it over Patreon, because I used Patreon the year before and I had a lot of trouble with it. But basically, some of my tiers are like $1, $3, $5. You can contribute monthly, or you can do a one-off contribution if you just want to support us. But you can join my membership club for like the price of like $3. It's like a cup of coffee in some states, not a Starbucks coffee. Anyway, but it helps me support my marketing and my production. So that's really what I'm using most of this money for. Nothing's going in my pocket yet. I'm not at that stage in my career. But it allows me to keep creating music. So every little bit counts, and there's a cool tiered system. So like every tier that you sign up for in a membership has some unique features that you unlock. So check it out, please. Ko-fi.com/Weege. ko-fi.com/Weege. The other step you can take, buy merchandise. It's all over my website. We just released some new hoodies, some new tank tops, t-shirts. I'm always looking for merch suggestions. So if you see something that's not, you see my merch and you're like, I wish he made something, just a koozie or something, just let me know. And I'll try and get it up really quick. We use a drop ship service. So a lot of that stuff can be custom built and sent pretty quick. And of course, the fifth step, which was the first thing I mentioned, was social media. Follow me on social. Please follow me on social, share my posts, comment on everything. This bumps up the algorithm. And then last but not least, streaming. Follow my profile on all your streaming whatever you're using for streaming, follow me there. Hit that follow button. Share my music when you can. And if you have playlists, add my music to playlists. Cool. That's all I got for plugging. And that's all I got for commentary. It's kind of a short week. I've got a lot going on in the studio. I do have a ton of stickers, so look on Instagram and TikTok. I'm going to be doing giveaways. I'm really pumped about giveaways because I've got a ton of these die cut stickers. I'm showing it on camera, so for those of you listening in audio, it's a really cool Weege logo sticker with a white print. And I've also got a lot of these custom stickers that I left over from my last tour. The bubblegum sticker was really popular. And the Sunsplash sticker was really popular too. So I'll be doing some giveaways. So go follow my social. All right, y'all, stay blessed. We're going to be doing this every week. I'm looking to get some guests. I'm looking to do some different things. I'm actually starting a podcast with the 880 South Boys. So there's going to be more, tons more. So follow me. I appreciate all the love and support. If you have questions, Q&A, drop them in my Weege Fans group on Facebook or shoot me a message on Instagram, and I promise I'll respond. Stay blessed.